But you're creating it commercially for your own company.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Very good. And are things still...
There's no sound. I don't know why.
How about now?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I wonder what happened. Are you still seeing like places where the spec is unclear?
In general, it's fine, but I think I'm a bit biased here because since I wrote a part of it,
Right.
I'm not sure if
Yes,
it's
true.
entirely. But at least it makes sense. From what I'm doing, it makes sense. But then I'm not entirely sure someone that's not participated in the writing of it will understand everything. I'm not sure. But at least it's going well. Hi, Justin.
Hey, Justin.
Hello. Okay, I think I've got everything unlocked on my browser here now. Took a moment.
Good.
Justin, do you have any slides or is it...
No slides prepared for the day. We've got the only change was the set of diffs that went into the latest draft. So I figure we could talk about that directly, maybe view the diff itself directly, but no slides on top of that. I think we lost your audio though.
Yeah, we had the same issue just before you arrived.
Gotcha.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, loud and clear.
No?
Yes, we can. Can you hear us?
Okay.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
No.
Okay, well.
Okay, now I can.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. I was afraid we were going to have it be that's a single mutex audio codec, if I remember my multimedia codec days.
Simplex. Anyway.
Simplex. That's right. There we go.
There's exactly one participant on the list I don't recognize. And I don't even know how to read it. So, okay, we have one more person joining.
All right. Is Leif going to be joining us? Do you know?
I haven't heard from him.
Okay.
Okay, we can go through the diff with this forum. Well, not quorum. But then we will need to run things on the mailing list. That's always required, but this time it's not only formality. We need to get some backing to
Right.
move forward to the ISG.
Yeah, we posted to the list after making the changes, but nobody responded at that time.
Yeah.
But happy to go through them today. Do you want to share, or should I?
Please do.
Okay. Let's see here. All right, so I did the screen share request. I think,
sorry.
Aaron, you have to
Yes.
approve it or something. Okay, share my screen. Let's see if I'm gonna. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay. So there were a couple of changes in the latest draft. Most of them small editorial. Things like rotating the token's value instead of rotating the token, just being more precise there. The biggest change you can actually see starting in this example, and that's the token management, like we talked about in Yokohama. Instead of token management now being based on just a URI, it is now set up much like the continuation response, in that there's a URI and an access token structure that goes with that. The access token is mandatory. Here it is. This is the text that defines it. So the manage field, when it comes back with an access token object, it means that you basically you get a special access token just for managing the access token and for nothing else. Previously, we had used the token itself to call the token management API, but there was pushback on that during last call, and after discussion, we backed that off and now are using a separate access token for accessing that API. This is a little bit more complicated, but it is parallel with the rest of the with a lot of other functions in the draft. And in fact, most of this text we took from the continuation token text that's already been discussed at length in the group. So 2 fields here, the URI that you call, and then the access token that you use to call that. It has the same constraints that the continuation token has, which is to say, it must be bound to the client's key, must not be a bearer token, which means the flags array must not have the string bearer, and the key field must be omitted. Also, to prevent infinite recursion, the token management access token must not have its own token management access token for managing the token management token. So basically, this is a special use token, and if it stops working, then it stops working. You have to go get a new access token from the Grant API, and then
Can I have
that's it.
simple implementations that don't know about the management token, and the base access token just expires and that's that?
Yep. You don't returning the manage field is optional entirely. So you can completely have an access token that just dies, or is manually revoked or anything like that, and then you don't have to worry about this. And this, one of the reasons that we were comfortable with doing this is that that's how most of the implementations we've seen so far are built. They just have simple tokens that expire, and then that's the end of it. But the feedback we got from the Finbos folks and from the Gen folks, Gen Digital, is that if they were to implement this, then what we had in the draft previously, where we were using the same token value, was not going to be easily implementable for them. But separating it out as a separate field that they could track was a pattern that we've already done. In a lot of ways, it's similar to the OAuth 2 refresh token with slightly different properties, but a similar idea of using a separate value to control access to token management. This also gives you token revocation capability at the client, because it's all part of the same API.
Mm-hmm.
So along with that definition, we of course changed the token management API specification down below. So we now no longer have this, if it's sender constrained, if it's bearer, blah, blah, blah. It's always just the token management access token. That's always the one that's used. And similar to the continuation API, you must uniquely identify a token being managed from the token management URI, the token management access token, or a combination of both of those. So just like the grant management API, it's the same set of constraints.
Which I think simplifies a lot, actually.
Yeah, I think so as well. We're putting less weight on just the API and just the URI, and allowing the AS to make some deployment decisions there.
But from an API point of view, there's no change.
I mean, yeah, it's still a token protected endpoint. It's just which token you're using to protect it is now different.
But the management APIs aren't changed, or are
Correct.
they?
Yeah, the actual management APIs themselves are not changed. Sort of what the AS has to do with it is simpler now. Because we don't have to have all of this. If the token's expired, then you can still rotate it, which was the source of contention. And we also don't have to have the, if it's a bearer token, then don't treat it like a bearer token text, which was also confusing to people. I think a lot of this comes from this being a much less exercised part of the specification. So I think that's why we're only hearing about all of this now, even though all of this has been in the spec for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And those are really the main changes. There's a little, there is key rotation, which I can go into in a bit once we're done with this topic. That's why I wanted to pull up the diff to make sure we didn't miss any major topics. But this is the difference in the token response. So instead of a manage URI, you get a manage URI and token value.
Before we move into key rotation, do we still have any outstanding issues?
No, we do not. Yep, all issues are closed.
Amazing.
Yeah, there was one other issue that got raised about interaction responses and sort of bundling the finish methods and things like that. And we talked with the author about that on GitHub, and proposed that might fit as an extension, and they agreed. So we closed that one under needs text, and because nothing's been proposed yet. But those were the two outstanding issues.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if we're okay on that topic, I can talk about the key rotation changes.
Yeah, let's do that.
So there was actually a security report on HTTP message signatures about how we were proposing it being it getting used, namely signing the signature value in order to compound signatures. And that's what we were using to do key rotation in GNAP. And so we fixed HTTP signatures. There weren't actually any protocol changes there, but the advice on how to apply it changed a bunch. That, of course, affected both GNAP, which we have here, I'll talk about it in a sec, as well as the FAPI profile of HTTP signatures, which was doing the same thing. So the researchers were right to call this out and carefully explain why it wasn't a good idea, because several groups saw the obvious use, which turned out to be not very good. So in any event, key rotation, previously you would just sign the old signature value. So yeah, and that was it.
So that's the only change at the HTTP signature layer, nothing at the GNAP layer, really?
So at the GNAP layer, the requirements for doing key rotation are now you sign the whole request again, including the signature and signature input. So previously you could get away with just this line.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're saying, no, you actually have to tie it to the entire message, because you don't get the transitive signature property that we thought we were getting before. So you're still doing HTTP signatures, you're still applying two signatures in order, but you just also have to tie it to the rest of the message in order for it to be considered secure.
Is there any hardship at the implementation level that you see here?
No, because this is all stuff that you would have to do to apply the first signature anyway.
So you just need to save the individual fields and verify them when they come back.
Yep, exactly. Which you have to do to verify the first signature anyway. Right. Now it's just you have them both in both signatures instead of only applied to one signature. And the examples here are updated from the script that generates all of these. Oh, and we do have the application tag of GNAP in the example now. Oh, we did before. Okay, we did do that before.
By the way, I'm I'm a little bit surprised that we have the authorization header signed. It's kind of at a different layer to me.
So this is the call to the since this is key rotation, this is a call to the either the token management endpoint or the grant management endpoints. So those are both token protected, which means that the access token itself is bound to the key. And so signing the authorization header value shows that you are presenting this token value underneath this particular key.
Yeah, okay.
With HTTP signatures, we were very deliberate about not using the authorization header to carry the signature itself, which previous drafts of the signature scheme allowed that, which I think does conflate the different layers.
And just out of curiosity, you said that this also applies to FAPI. Is that a profile of FAPI, some specific like variant?
So FAPI has the HTTP signatures or signed HTTP requests or subsection. So there's the core FAPI, and then there's a couple of sort of additional documents. One of them is about signed HTTP, which uses both HTTP signatures and all of the OAuth Jose methods like, jar and JARM and PAR and all of this other stuff in order to tie everything together.
Mm-hmm.
So FAPI has a similar requirement to sign the authorization header, but also method. I don't remember if they do target URI or just at authorization. Digest if it exists. Pretty sensible set of defaults. And yeah, that's pretty much the set of changes. There's a couple of editorial updates, but those are the two big ones. And that should address all of the things that came up in last call, both in GNAP and in HTTP SIG that we depend on.
All right, looks good. So what I suggest we do is I will send an email to the list saying everything seems to be closed, no issues, blah, blah, blah. And if there are no additional comments coming in within the next, I don't know, week, we will write a Shepherd's document and move it to the AD.
Okay.
So default, yes, but I still want to run it by the mailing list.
Absolutely. So hopefully we can get it into at least AD review space before San Francisco. And
Yes.
I don't know, maybe I'm optimistic, but maybe IESG review by then, at least for core.
Yeah. And then we probably don't need to meet in San Francisco, which is, yeah, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do have the RS draft.
Yeah, that's true.
Not a lot of changes on that, but
Any
Fabian?
plans on that one before San Francisco?
We need to add the, we've got the token model section, so we need to add this token management token to that. That's the only thing that jumps to mind. Saw Fabian just came off mute though, so.
Yeah. No, there's a few things. Yeah, we could at least publish a new version.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I don't think we need a long meeting though in San Francisco. I am planning to be in San Francisco anyway. It's a relatively simple trip for me. At least it's not international.
Yeah, it's a longer trip for me, but I'm planning to be there.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't be there. My wife is expecting a child, so.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. I think this was it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Well,
All right.
thank
Thanks,
you.
Aaron.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.